Now these, they do not have a summer variant. I think they did, but I could only get it, it was too small, and then it sold. And the summer variant is a summer variant for the army in Sweden, is very cold, an actual cold country. It's probably not as warm as that, but it's still very warm. But it was super period accurate and super good for me because it was a cream color, which is more formal, is more appropriate. It means one has the money to launder it often. Although for morning, my morning outfit, I want white. But this was actually cream, almost white, but not quite white. Like sort of my skin color, like my skin color. So theoretically white, but a dark white, a yellowish white, that people often call cream. In fact, people say I have a cream colored skin. So. And it's different. Again, the army has different types of uniforms. I'm not an expert in army uniforms. I did research that a bit. These are very famous and privatized by collectors, army collectors. But I could not learn anything about the other ones. They show on eBay, always said it was from the Swedish army. And I believed it because it had this Swedish army logo. Some items did not have it or lost it through washing and whatever. Or even through rubbing on top of other items through storage for about 100 years or so. This one had it was completely different, it was much. First of all, it was for a smaller person. So it was cream colored, a lighter weight cloth that was still cotton and knitted, so for Dubai it would be very heavy. But still more wearable than this. It will still sort of be wearable by a diehard like me in summer. Even this is really, in summer it gets to 50 on the bad days. And it is about 45 at the highest peak of the day throughout those 3 months. Again, Dubai is the hottest country on earth. So, and it was short and it actually buttoned all the way through. I think slightly offset. And it's buttoned with about, I guess, 6 or 7 buttons. And it had cuffs, but the cuffs were knitted, so more undershirt like, and it had less of the collar, and all the collar and placket and everything, as far as I remember, were knitted. Also, unlike here, so it would sit better, snugger, less protruding and bulky below a shirt, so especially one is asked to wear a heavy starched shirt, especially in a country like here. Yeah. But unfortunately I probably only ever saw one of these for sale. It was rather, he called it a small medium, because today, since about now nearly 20 years, men favor very tight-fitting clothes, and like me, I like it to be, especially since, again, when one wears period clothing, one desires to be, and that is the reason for which back then even most people that had the model to measure had it relatively large fitting. Because unless if one had the money to go with very high level made to measure, which is more expensive than the basic level, and still was willing to suffer a bit and to be a bit tight fitted into the garments, then otherwise these garments, because of all the layers and the fact they have no elasticity, and with the starching and everything, and all, especially in British garments, the fact they were heavily padded, coats were quite heavily padded to get the shaping and all, they were kind of meant to be somewhat import fitting. Not as much as they would get in the 1910s, especially in America. I mean, like before 1910, 1902 to 1912. And especially less so than it would get in the late 20s and 30s, starting in Britain. Or even less so than in the 1865, especially to 75, whereby garments were simply like sex. This was more of a fashion thing. But still, compared to modern garments, they were not. Modern garments kind of fit like the average undergarments fitted back then. If one sees my meaning here. Because to me, like, this is the ideal size I would purchase in undershirts, in ready-made undershirts. I see people like them much tighter now. So hence the reason for which on the white summer undershirt, the Swedish army that dated from the 20s or 30s or 40s. He said a small, medium or large small. For me, I would simply call that a small. And if one was about my frame, again, the me also have huge shoulder blades, so have huge super wide shoulders, so it alters the entire fit. But it would not fit well. I mean, I would hate wearing something like that. I would not wear it. So again, I'm trying to see what could be talked about. So these are easy to get, even in extra large, even extra large. They're somewhat easy to get. They are all about that length. I know because every time the ratio from arm to bottom is the same. And also the arms are actually, I was expecting to have I was afraid that this would be very large, but that would be sort of alright. I remember that the arms would sit very high and actually the thing would be short. It would be fine, I would prefer the thing to be short, at least if I was meant to wear it as an undershirt. Now if I'm meant to wear it as a pajama shirt, it's much better if it's long. But actually no, it is simply not meant for a short person. With short arms, it is simply that are meant to be long and to cover the growing area completely and be used as briefs and even to sleep in. So be aware of that, be aware it is somewhat itchy, not very itchy, also I could wear it for the entire video and not develop an itch, but when sleeping or throughout the day with the heavy perspiration going out, I spend way more time than the average person does on the streets in Dubai. I never leave Dubai. I'm always staying in Dubai. Every summer we have a lot of rescued pets and I hate traveling, so there's no one like me just in Dubai. I mean, I just want to say that it has nothing to do with clothing, but in Dubai this is a sort of place for people like freelancers that come here and live 6 months and just work on the laptops and live within what people know as Dubai, as in the big buildings and all. I live in the outskirts of the city. I will not name where it is, but it looks like a European suburb here. It was meant to look like a European suburb with small buildings and more nature and things. And I never traveled out of it. I have literally not traveled out of Dubai for 5 years. I have rather think my autism is like upper middle class of autism, like in the middle but high, so quite badly, like still relatively severe, like I'm considered a handicap and all. So to me there's too much trouble traveling, and I do everything by foot, because in Dubai it is not foot friendly to travel, but Dubai is a humongous city with I think more than 6 million inhabitants or more even. So Palace is only 2 million compared. So Dubai is humongous compared to Palace, especially that only the middle part of Dubai is built, and this is where everything is built, and this is where I live, although I live on the end of that. And so what I mean is, it is all separated into tiny micro fake cities. They're not official cities, but they call them something cities. Like one of them is Dubai Marina, this is an older one. The ranches, green community, whatever, and all these things are very walkable to have all the shops and everything, especially the ones with buildings like here. So my thing is something called, I will not say the name, and then city. So it has about 35,000 inhabitants in it, and everything, all the shops for the groceries are walkable. So I walk to all of that, wearing a Victorian suit, even in summer, which is just, it is not even hardcore by that point, it's simply die hard. And they also do it when it is the hottest or almost the hottest. In summer I will not wear the western shirt, and I probably will not actually starch the shirt or very little. And if I go out around after 10 in the morning, I will not wear the coat, I will only wear the waistcoat. But still, I think this would be impossible to wear. And I walk about. I walk the white dog I walk in 2 hours every day. I do it in the evening to avoid everybody else. I do 2 hours in plus an hour split in two half an hours. The very old dog is 19, and I often